Long ago, in the shadow of Mount Fuji, there lived a humble village boy named Haruto. He was no warrior, no noble-schooled scholar. Haruto instead was a dreamer, a fisherman's son who spent his days reading old scrolls of samurai heroes and gazing at the sea, wondering what lay just beyond the horizon. But Haruto's life was not all idle wishes. His village had its struggles, the waters had grown restless, and the fish disappeared from their nets. Whispers of a curse spread among the villagers, a tale of a great sea serpent angered by a lost treasure stolen from its depths. One fateful morning, when the sun rose crimson over the waves as if stained with blood, Haruto's father was lost to the sea, his fishing boat shattered on the jagged rocks offshore. Though grief weighed him down, Haruto clung to the stories from those old scrolls, heroes who faced the impossible, who brought honor and peace. These stories planted a seed deep in his heart. He swore to save his village and reclaim the treasure that had doomed them. And so, with his father's fishing spear as his only weapon and the blessing of the village priest for protection, Haruto began his journey. As Haruto set out along the coastline, the path quickly turned wild. Sea breezes gave way to the whispers of far-off forests, and soon he found himself beneath the towering shadows of a bamboo grove. The stillness was unnerving, the air thick with tension. It was here that he encountered a strange figure, a woman draped in a delicate silk robe embroidered with autumn leaves, her hair falling in long, shimmering waves. She smiled warmly at him, and yet her eyes glimmered with something else. Mischief, perhaps danger. Haruto drew his spear instinctively. "Who are you?" he called, his voice steady despite the quaking in his heart. The woman tilted her head, amused. "Who am I is not the question you should ask, boy," she purred. "What can I teach you? That is the better question, for you have wandered into my forest, and none leave without offering something in return." The woman's form flickered, her image shimmering like moonlight on water. In her place stood a fox, its 9 majestic tails flaring and its golden fur aglow with an ethereal light. "A kitsune," Haruto whispered, dropping his spear and bowing respectfully. The stories he'd read spoke of their cleverness. They helped those in need, but often at a price. The fox spirit grinned knowingly. "You seek the lost treasure, do you not? I can give you the wisdom you need, but promise me this, boy. When I come calling, you will fulfill your debt to me, no matter the cost." Haruto hesitated. A promise to a kitsune could destroy him as surely as the serpent would. But what choice did he have? He took a deep breath, and then he nodded. The kitsune's eyes sparkled, and she whispered advice in cryptic riddles. "Beware your reflection in the water. It will tell no truths. Seek the lantern that guides without light, and when the past rises before you, hear their song." Before Haruto could ask what she meant, the kitsune vanished, leaving behind only a soft trail of falling cherry blossoms that glowed faintly in the moonlight. Haruto pressed on through the dense forest, finding himself pursued by shadowy figures. They moved like wraiths, their forms clad in the armor of dead samurai, their blades glinting with an unearthly cold. The bamboo wraiths were the stuff of village legends, restless spirits that haunted travelers under the sway of darker forces. He had no choice but to run. Bamboo stalks whipped past as he fled, his heart pounding against his ribs. He stumbled into a clearing where glowing lanterns hovered. No fire burned within them, yet they glowed, casting a mystical light that seemed to create paths between tangled roots and tangled reality. Haruto slowed. He remembered the kitsune's advice. "The lantern that guides without light," he muttered. As the wraiths closed in, he reached for the nearest lantern. It pulsed faintly as his hand grazed it, and in an instant, the world dissolved into a swirl of gold. Haruto came to his senses in a place as alien as it was beautiful. Haruto came to his senses in a place as alien as it was beautiful. He stood on the edge of an underwater palace, its walls crafted of pearlescent coral that shimmered with pale hues of pink and green. Schools of koi fish spiraled overhead, their scales catching light like scattered stars. The water did not choke him. He could breathe as easily as if he were still on land. Steeling himself, Haruto passed through the palace gates, which seemed to sigh open as if they awaited his arrival. Inside, he found chambers filled with dancing spirits, beings of the sea who twirled their translucent forms to a melody of chimes carried on the currents. At the palace's heart, atop a grand mound of shimmering sand, shone the very treasure he sought, a glowing pearl the size of his fist. His relief was short-lived. A deep rumble shook the palace, and the water grew dark. The spirits fled as the great sea serpent emerged from the black void beyond the palace, coiling around the glowing pearl. Its eyes gleamed like pools of molten gold, and its voice resonated through the water. "Mortal, you dare trespass and steal what is mine?" Haruto raised his spear, though he knew it was hopeless. His mind raced. The scrolls spoke of heroes defeating great monsters with wit, not force. But how could he, the son of a fisherman, outwit a being as ancient and powerful as this? It was then he realized the serpent was not advancing. It studied him, as though waiting. "You guard the pearl," Haruto said aloud, "to protect your waters. But tell me, why do your waters bring suffering to my people?" The serpent's laughter echoed like thunder. "Your kind is greedy," it hissed. "You take without asking. You waste what is sacred. No, little mortal, if you seek to calm my wrath, you must prove your worth." The battle that followed was not one fought with brute strength. Haruto had to outmaneuver the serpent, luring it into tight spaces within the palace's chambers. He remembered the kitsune's cryptic warnings and avoided its golden eyes cast in reflections from the walls and glass-like floors. With each pass, he found opportunities to strike not at the great beast's body, but at the dark chains at its fins, the true source of its rage. In the end, one final thrust of his spear shattered the chains, and the serpent cried out, not with fury but with relief. Its armored scales shimmered and softened, revealing the creature's true form, a flowing, radiant dragon bound to the ocean's tides. It nodded slowly, and the treasure, no longer glowing but softly pulsating, floated toward Haruto. "You have broken my bonds," the dragon rumbled. "The treasure is yours now. Earn it. Guard it well." Haruto returned to his village a hero, the strange pearl resting at the heart of their homes. Its power rejuvenated the land, the waters calmed, and fish filled their nets once more. But Haruto did not bask in glory long. He knew his promise to the kitsune lingered, and that his true journey toward honor and sacrifice was only beginning. As cherry blossoms rained from the heavens that spring, Haruto sat beneath the shade of the trees, watching the sky. Somewhere, a fox's laughter echoed on the wind, ready to call in its debt at any moment. And yet, Haruto smiled. Whatever was to come, he was ready, for he was no longer merely his village's dreamer. He was their protector, their storyteller, their hero.